Hey, everybody. Welcome to Office Hours. Welcome. Let me know if you can see me and hear me okay, and we will get this show on the road. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Office Hours. Happy Friday. Hope you're doing well. Hope your week has treated you kindly, and you're looking forward to a weekend. We've got gorgeous San Diego weather out here today. Perfect. Mid-70s, sunny, no wind, no nothing. Love it. So looking forward to a good weekend. Welcome. If this is your first time at Office Hours, these are pure Q&A. I have no agenda for you other than to try and help. So any questions that you have, you can jump on here, type them in the comments, and I will go through them. And also, I'll post a link here shortly where you can join me on camera if you'd like to, and we can have a conversation that way as well. Hey, Travis, good to see you. Thank you, sir. Awesome. Welcome, everybody. Let me know if you have any questions. You can put them into the comments. I'm also going to check our online community and see if there are any unanswered questions that have been posted there. And we will go through as much as we can here over the course of the next hour. All right, we've got a good number of questions in there. And so I will jump in if I don't see anything coming in the comments here. Yes, that's awesome. Go High Level in London, just around the corner. That's right, Carlos. I was hoping to make that. I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to, unfortunately. My schedule is really tight. I'm going to a entrepreneurs event in Detroit for 5 days right before that London event. The London event timing had not been announced yet, so I didn't know about it. So not sure that I can do back-to-back both of those trips, given that I've got, kids, businesses, all that stuff. I would love to just be able to gallivant around the world all day, but all month, but I'm not sure that I can do that. Okay, let's see here. Alan Bell, good to see you, sir. Welcome to everybody. Carlos, welcome. Chris, awesome. I just posted the link, Chris, so you can jump on whenever you like. Tanvir, good to see you, sir. Helena, good to see you. What do you think about using the free website offer for the initial 90 days with 100 contacts per day? With 100 contacts per day. Free website offer for the initial 90 days with 100 contacts per day. Helena, so I'm not 100% sure I understand the question. And maybe you can either type some more in or you can join us on that link and we can have a conversation about it. Free website offer. So to be clear, the free website offer that I recommend, the way that I teach it, you are not actually, the website design and build is free, but you're still charging them every month. And I recommend that you charge them $97 a month by including hosting, as well as including a lot of the initial capabilities of high level that go really well with the website. So having AI chat or just having chat, having lead generation, lead capture forms. You could have a call tracking number. You could set up their conversations, set them up inside the conversations capability of high level so that as people are interacting with their social accounts and the website and that call tracking number, they can be interacting with their prospects and customers in one place. So you can start to give them a really nice taste of the capabilities of high level. Okay, here we go. Follow up. I know how the free website offer works. My question is using it to launch my business. Oh, perfect. Thank you. Okay. That helped a bunch. The initial 90-day surge to launch your business. I love that, Helena. I think that's awesome. Yes, I think that's a fantastic offer to get started with. I think it's a great one to create some buzz around. Like, you could reach out. I can, imagine you using that to reach out to all your friends, all your connections and say, hey, I'm very excited about starting this business. And in fact, We have an incredible offer that we're doing to get this thing launched. And here it is. And, it's a nice one to create some good buzz and energy, because it's got a little bit of a shock factor to it, rather than just saying, hey, I'm launching a new agency and I've got some services I can do for small businesses, right? So it's something that's specific. It's something that people understand. It's got some wow factor. So yes, I really like that. In terms of 100 contacts per day, it depends on what you mean by contacts. And so, you could run an ad on Facebook promoting your offer for $5 or $10 a day and reach way more than 100 people, right? Way more than 100 people would see that ad. And so, yes, awesome, Elena. 100 emails plus the ad. Okay. So then the 100 emails, if you, if you watched my last video on the complete marketing plan for growing, high level, if you are reaching out to those 100 in, some sort of smart, thoughtful way, rather than just blasting, then I think it's great. If you're just taking a blasting approach, you could do way more than 100. And so, I'd say you could probably crank those numbers up a little bit. Although, 100 is a good number. It's not a bad number. Again, I would just like that to be as tailored as possible. But I think that, the great thing is, again, with those ads, you can get visibility with a lot more people. And then if you are using some social posting, to create some enthusiasm, if you are using some email and social posting to reach out to your existing personal network and trying to get some momentum with them. And if you're, I don't know, Helena, if you're in my training, if you're in my high leverage agency, or even in my high level fast start, I believe has got the initial launch, like social campaigns and scripts and things like that. Go through that and tailor that to what you're doing. I think, if you are, showing that enthusiasm and reaching out to as many people as you can through those different channels, I think, yeah, that's a good plan. You're in good shape. Okay. Chris, you want to jump on?
Yes, sir. Ready to rock. How you doing, brother?
Hey, how's it going?
It's good, man. Quick story. You won't remember me, but I was running a marketing agency. I live in Denver, Colorado, first of all.
Oh, cool.
And I was running a marketing agency called Poobah Marketing back in 2011, 12, around there.
Yeah.
Which is when I met you, and you were helping us. And
that's awesome.
Back then, I was like, man, this guy's freaking smart. Like, I want to be like this guy when I grow up.
And now you're like, what the hell happened to him?
Well, what happened to me is a long story, but I had a falling out with my business partners and went and started a real estate investing company.
Oh, wow.
Which is what I do now. So we buy properties with private money, and then we just play the bank and we finance them on 30-year notes, and it's working well, and it's going
awesome.
well. And so I've got this bandwidth to, let's call it a side hustle, to generate more revenue, to pay off more of our properties, to increase our cash flow, to have our money make money, right?
I love it.
So I must have put this out into the universe, and a month and a half ago, I'm this YouTube video pops up, Mike Cooch interviewing this kid, and I'm like,
that's awesome.
I remember that guy. He's really smart. And so I watched it, and long story short, now I've signed up under Go High Level. I've gone through all your training.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so it's just good to see you, and anybody that's maybe seeing you for the first time today, just know from me, like, I've known Mike for a long time.
That's so cool.
I've gone through all his training and Go High Level, and it's like what you're getting for like $97 a month and go. It's like, and Mike, he's a super humble guy, as you guys can probably tell, but I've paid literally $20,000 plus in coaching for what he's giving away for free in Go High Level. It's awesome. Insane.
Thanks,
so
man.
you're in the right place if you're watching this training.
I really appreciate it, Chris. That's cool, and it's cool how it's a full circle moment. I love that. I love that I've been in this world long enough that these kinds of things happen. That's really cool. I'm glad to hear about your success with the real estate too.
Appreciate it. Yeah, appreciate you. So here's my question.
Yeah.
I'm going after roofers. My brand is Preeminent Roofer.
Okay.
I'm using Jay Abraham's strategy of preeminence that I'm sure you're familiar with.
Yep.
And so my offer is going to be something on the lines of the Preeminent Roofer's AI cheat code for creating and controlling attention.
Cool.
Which then basically puts them into the Go High Level suite.
Right.
Now, here's the question. Probably the big lever in the service offering is going to be getting them into the top 3 of the Google Maps.
Okay.
To do that, the strategy and this is all outsourced through my team, which is why I'm considering it, because as you probably can imagine, it's a heavier lift on the service side. But I've got it all set up to outsource. I don't have to do any of it.
That's awesome.
I just have to manage the process. So it takes about $136 per on-site web page to optimize that to speak to the Google business listing. And you've got to do about 40 web pages. So the total overhead cost of that's about $5,500.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
So my offer, my thinking is I use your surge concept that you teach in your training. And my thinking is on the pricing here. So at about a 72% profit margin, I could charge $5,000. My thinking was, hey, we're doing the surge. Month 1, phase 1 of the surge, $5,000. Month 2, phase 2 of the surge, $3,000. Month 3, phase 3, the last phase of the surge, $2,000. Then we roll into steady state management and optimization of helping you become the preeminent roofer in your market, either $497 or $697 a month. Or, hey, listen, if you're someone who likes to go fast and you're looking for a discount, I can give you 20% off. You can pay $8,000 because if you add up the surge cost, that's $10,000, $5,000, $3,000, $2,000. You could pay me $8,000 right now. And then starting month 1, we'll drop you right into the $497 or $697, whatever we decide to go with. So my question then is, what am I missing on overhead cost after I get past that $5,500 price to get them ranked in Google Maps? What am I missing in overhead after that I have to consider? And then 2 is, what are your thoughts on the pricing? Like, is this too much money, do you think? Like, am I getting risky with, because I do want to build this the way you teach in your training, which is make it a monthly price point where, they're going to last longer than 3 to 4 months like they were in my agency when I was building an agency.
Yeah. So, okay, a couple of thoughts. So first, in terms of the overhead that you're missing, not much. I mean, if you design if you take the systems approach, the productized systems approach that I teach, and you say, okay, for roofers, here are the capabilities, here are the campaigns, here's everything that we're going to set up for them. If you build a snapshot around that, and you go to set up a new account around that snapshot, the first handful of times you do it, you're gonna feel some growing pains, and it's gonna grind in a couple spots, and there's gonna be some real learning in a handful of areas that you can make it more efficient. But man, by the time you do that 10 times, you're gonna be flying right through it. So the setup of a customer and their accounts, again, once you get the hang of it, it's really efficient. So there's not a lot of overhead there. In the $497 monthly, you have whatever credits you're going to include for email, calls, SMS, things like that. So that's controllable by you, though. It's 100% controllable. So you just have to decide, hey, in that $497 price point, they get all of that included. They get some of that included, whatever. You can decide that. But again, that's controllable, so that's nice. And then there's ongoing support costs, and ongoing support costs for something like this. In the early stages, everybody, by the way, should be hearing this and really getting comfortable with this, because this screws people up and messes up your mindset around your opportunities. in the first 6 months of doing this, everything's going to feel harder than you want it to. You know, you got your vision of, oh man, I'm going to create this incredible automated business using high level, and then I get to go to the beach. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You know, and 4 years into it, there will be some real truth to that. If you work every day to make your business a really nice process and nail the system, and you built your support team. This is why when I built my IT management company, I took off and produced a movie in Hollywood, because I had done that. I had put the systems in place. I built the team, but that takes time. And especially in that first 6 months, everything's going to feel harder than you want it to feel, because you're just learning, and you're learning so fast. So expect in that first 6 months that support is going to be more than you want it to be, and that those are incredible learning opportunities. And that's got to be your mindset around it, is like, all of this support that I'm running into is teaching me how to make this system just better and better and better. And so the key is that during those 6 months, the emphasis is on making the system better and better and better. It's not just solving the support problem and then moving to the next support problem. It's solving the problem and going, okay, why did that problem exist? It existed because our snapshot was goofy here. Now let's go update the snapshot so that doesn't happen again. And you just continue to knock those things down, and that support cost is going to come way, way, way down over time. And if you look at typical support costs for a SaaS business, 10%, something like that, of revenue. So it's not a huge, it's not a huge cost, right? So that's pretty much it, though, from an overhead perspective. In terms of, and any questions about that before I go into the pricing? And
no, that makes sense. I appreciate that.
Cool. On the pricing, there's absolutely nothing wrong with having you're positioning it as a preeminent, like that's the whole positioning. And so having a premium price point like that, the $10,000, there's nothing wrong with that at all. And I think the way that you're talking about structuring it and giving them a discount, I think all sounds really good. You are, of course, going to naturally filter out a lot of potential customers with that offer. There's going to be a lot of businesses that are not going to spend 10 grand upfront. So you just have to realize that and be okay with that. But that is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You are going to, narrow down the number of customers in each market that you're going to work with, because because there's only so many that you can get into the top 3 anyway, right? So you've got to take this kind of regional attack approach of, hey, this zip code, I'm only taking 3 customers, or this zip code, I'm only taking 3, whatever your metrics are. That's what I did with chiropractors a long time ago in the Denver area. I did the exact same thing and just said, hey, look, in each zip code, I'm only taking, and I can't even remember at the time, I think my pitch was, I can't remember if it was just 1 per zip code or if I did 3 as well. But anyway, I narrowed it down, and that was a big part of my pitch. It was like, hey, look, lock up your zip code or your competitor is going to. And once they do, just know that I'm going to bring everything I know how to do to make them beat your ass, So either you lock it up or they lock it up. And that was a part of the pitch, and it worked. You just have to make sure then that your approach to marketing, one, has the robust pitch to sell that $10,000. So that's just, it's just typically just more content, some sort of educational webinar, live events, whatever it is that you decide to do, so that you are positioning yourself and positioning your offer as being worth that. And then again, making sure that you've got a marketing strategy to attack specific zip codes, because once you've sold however many you're going to sell in that zip code, it's time to move on. And so you just have to make sure that you've got a strategy around that. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that $10,000 surge fee at all.
I actually have I've done enough sales. I've got a lot of confidence to be able to, I was selling $20,000 real estate education programs to people, so I've done the high ticket sales stuff.
Awesome.
I'm more wanting to, because of my experience with the marketing agency and feeling the churn, I'm more receptive to your training around that monthly price point so you can get your customers to 12 months, 24. Like that to me is the freedom. So I'm more
and make no mistake about it. That is the freedom and that is the goal. And so the thing that I would recommend that you do now before you start is step back and go, okay, if I'm not scarce on capital and I'm not scarce on time, is there a way I would rather approach this so that I accelerate the growth of the recurring revenue? That's always been my number one objective by far every single time I start a business. And I will sacrifice short-term income every single time that I can. And sometimes I can't. I've been in a position where it's like, hey, I got to get this much cash coming in this month to keep the lights on. And then I'm going to convert as much of that as I possibly can into recurring revenue. But I got to keep the lights on. I got to keep food on the table. I've been in that position several times. So, you do what you got to do. But it sounds like you're in a position where you may be able to be more opportunistic about that. And recurring revenue is the goal. Everybody on this call, make no mistake about it, $20,000 at $497 a piece is way better than one $20,000 payment. Yes. Way better. And that may be counterintuitive to a lot of you because you're thinking, Mike, why wouldn't I just take one $20,000 payment? Sounds much easier. Yeah, much easier at first, much harder long-term to sustain and get away from versus that 20K at $497 a pop turns into 50K at $497 a pop, turns into 100K at $497 a pop. Now, when 3 customers leave, you barely even notice it. And you add 5, 7 more customers and you just continue moving that recurring revenue forward. And now you have that lifestyle freedom that you're looking for. It's a totally different life. So
I'm glad you brought that up because my thought that just hit me as we're talking is I'm running that initial setup, that $10,000 surge setup at like a 75% profit margin. I could just drop that down to 10% just to do what you just said. It's almost like a loss leader, right? If you think about Dan Kennedy, who says the business owner that can spend money to buy customers is going to win every time.
Yeah.
And the value of being in the maps, right? Like 60 to 70% of all phone calls are going to the top 3 in the maps.
Yeah.
I mean, you get them into the maps. That's the only reason I'm thinking about this. That is an offer. It's more work, but it's like, and tell me if I'm wrong here, but it's more work, but you get them in the maps and their phones are ringing, and now you've got them on a $497 a month plan. Why the heck are they going to, why are they going to cancel?
They're not unless their business is just like falling apart, but there's no reason it should be falling apart if they're in the top 3 in the maps and they're getting all those calls.
So maybe I dropped the profit margin on that 10K from 75% to, I don't know your thoughts on that, but.
Oh, I personally care less about any upfront profit. Okay. I would be purely looking at how can I acquire as many customers as fast as I can, and what do I need any of that upfront cash for to be able to do that? And that the reality is, so let's just say that your out of pocket costs in that surge are, I'm just going to say $2,000, $2,500, whatever it is to pay your outsourcers to do all the work to get them ranked. And then let's say at some point or another, well, whether or not you're going to have salespeople working for you, let's just say sales and marketing costs to acquire a customer, $1,500, so now you're $4-5 into it fully loaded. And so to me, I would be looking at that number, and I would be thinking about it very strategically in terms of, one, how do I give myself at least the option. I'm not saying that you want to do it every time, but at least the option to minimize that number as much as possible to get a new customer on board faster. How could I adjust payments so that I'm still getting that money, but the way I'm structuring the payments is more flexible to give more people the opportunity to come on board? And then in what cases, maybe I just completely eat that. And so as an example, I would gladly eat that if somebody signs a 2-year service agreement. Hey, you give me a 2-year service agreement. I'll do all that. My team and I will finance that up front for you. We'll do all the work, all the hustle to get all that set up for you. Now I'm locked into 2 years recurring revenue. And as you said, they shouldn't be going anywhere after that anyway. So my mindset is I lock them in for 2 years. I'm doing a good job on this service. They're probably going to be with me for the next 5 years. So there's always a way to use that number for leverage in the way that you pitch it, right? So again, depending on where you are in the training, I pitch that you always present, and especially if you're doing an upfront surge fee like this, that's a pretty good size number. You always present a few payment options. So one is, hey, you pay us 542 or 532, like you said, and then it goes $497 a month. That's our standard issue, right? Or you pay us upfront and you save 20%. So then it's $8 upfront and then $497. So that's option number 2. Option number 3 is, hey, I know that 10 grand upfront can be a lot to bite off for a lot of businesses. You guys are hustling and growing, and I know every penny is important. We do have the option to finance that over, with a 2-year agreement. So if you want to give us a 2-year agreement, we're happy to go ahead and do that work ourselves. And then here's the other thing that everybody should be aware of is oftentimes then you can, if you want to, go and sell a portion of that deal to one of the many companies that will finance those deals for you. So you can still get the upfront cash if you need to. So let's say you sell 10 deals every month and you say, you know what, I've got this finance partner out there that I'm going to sell 3 of these. And I'm not going to get the full value of that account because the finance partner has to cover their downside. But I do want some upfront cash to cover some of our costs. So I can sell 3 of those deals to the finance partner. And instead of getting the 10K, maybe get 6K or 5K. But you had margins in it anyway. And so now you're saying, okay, I'll eat the margins on those, give those to the finance partner, but get the upfront cash still out of it so that I've got the upfront cash to cover some costs. So there's always some creative solution in doing this stuff. It's about how you present it, package it, that type of thing. And there's always somebody with money that will pay for a deal, right? So, whether it's your customer's bank, your customer's credit card, your bank, your credit card, your finance partner, there's always somebody that will finance a deal. And so there's lots of ways to think about that creatively. And I think that as I encourage everybody to do, having a surge upfront and having some meaningful dollar value to that surge is a really important part of presenting the value of your services. So I've got no problem with anything that you're talking about doing. And I do think that it's wise to strategically consider, how am I going to leverage this as much as possible to still take out friction in the sales process, get the right customers that I want on board, get them as fast as I can, and keep them as long as I can.
Have you ever been to one of those events, Mike, where there's that crazy guy sitting in the front row and the speaker says something and he just stands up and goes, breakthrough? Have you ever? I was just thinking everything you said was gold, but like when you talked about signing the 2-year service agreement to finance it, I was like, that's what I needed to hear today. That was just like, that's genius. So
good. That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, that's something that we've been able to use the heck out of over the years. In the IT business, when we were doing that, probably pre when I met you, or maybe I was just selling it or something in that time frame. But that was huge for us because we oftentimes had to do, our surge in that business could be $45,000, because we had to set up a whole network for somebody and do data migrations and set up all their employees in a new office and things like that. So our ability to create creative financial solutions, opportunities for the customer and help them with that was oftentimes the thing that made the difference between getting the deal or not.
Awesome, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate all the time you just took to help me out and everyone's
Of course.
patience as you were helping me out. So it's
That's
good to
awesome,
connect
man.
with you again.
Yeah. It's great to see you, Chris. Thanks for being a part of the community. Thanks for your business. And I'll look forward to the updates.
All right, buddy. Appreciate you.
All right. You too. Take care. Tanvir, you want to jump on, sir? Let's see. You there? Are you ready?
Yeah. Can you
Awesome.
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. How can I help you?
I think I'm on. Yes, I am. Yes.
Yeah. Seems like we've got a delay.
Give me 1 sec. There's a little delay. Okay, so my question was, I posted it in the chat. Can you give me some tips for running Facebook ads for the free website offer? Instant lead forms versus landing page, copy creatives that work, cost per lead. What's realistic?
Cool. Okay, here we go. Can you give some tips for running Facebook ads for the free website offer, instant lead forms versus landing page, copy creative that work, cost per lead? Okay, awesome. So the first tip I give everybody about paid advertising is the only tip that matters, which is test everything. Because anything that I tell you today, other than test, could be obsolete tomorrow. Test is always the answer that will stand the test of time. And what I mean by that is testing the message, testing the creative, testing the targeting. Those are the biggies. And if you are marketing in a local market, so if you're saying, hey, I'm just doing this in San Diego, it's really about testing the messaging and the creative. The targeting really will take care of itself. Facebook's ad platform will find the right people. So the targeting really is not that big of a deal. So Tanvir, if you have access to my Prime the Pump system and then my attention engine ad system, those are really the things to study. But just to give a brief summary of them, with the Prime the Pump, you're putting together, an ad, an offer in the ad, and you're just putting $5 behind that, and you're just letting it run, or $10 behind that, and you're just letting it run. And the entire objective of that is just to get clicks and engagement. Like, you're not conversion obsessed. You're just trying to get attention. You're just trying to find people that are interested. And it should just be very low budget, very hands off, just keeping you in front of the market so that people are aware of you. Okay. And then with the more conversion focused ads, what you want to do is you want to do aggressive testing of headlines and copy and images and videos, right? And so those things, the nice thing is with Facebook now, you can load in a variety of headlines. You can say, hey, look, here's 6 different headlines, run them all. Here's 6 different images, run them all. Here's 6 different videos, run them all. And let Facebook find the winning messages and creative for you, so that testing process that I said is all important can happen very quickly. And so you just want to leverage like crazy the built-in abilities of the platform to do that testing quickly and cheaply. And you want to leverage every AI tool that you can now. I know, like, there's that icon, icon ad. Let me just do a quick search and make sure. Yeah. So let me share my screen. This is, I'm actually about to sign up for this week myself. And just because it seems to be the one that really has big name investors behind it. It has a very attractive price point to it. I think it looks like it's gonna do really well. But this is a tool that essentially allows you to create. You can see right here, plan, create, and run thousands of winning ads end to end. So it's a system that really allows you to create a bunch of different types of ads and creative very quickly and test them very quickly. Again, I'm just about to sign up for it myself, so I can't vouch for that everything about it is perfect or whatever. But conceptually, you want to just make testing the core of what you are doing with your ad campaigns. That's your core capability. So that all being said, you want to just relatively low budget in a local market. Again, if I'm launching this in San Diego, I'm spending like maybe $20 a day, so not huge amounts of money, and I'm just testing a bunch of creative, and I'm just letting Facebook show the winning ads. And then all you have to do in local is you just have to watch the metrics on those ads to see when they start to die off. Because when you're running ads just in San Diego, even though there's, whatever million people in San Diego, the right people to see those ads, they're going to start seeing it over and over again over a course of a month. Facebook's going to show it to them over and over and over again. At some point or another, they're going to get tired of that particular creative. The metrics will start to drop. And so you just need to refresh it and replace it with some new creative. So that process is just ongoing, and you're just staying in front of them with a variety of different angles and new creatives and stuff like that to just keep in front of them. That's pretty much all there is to it. You don't have to do fancy targeting in local. You don't have to do, really precise split testing. You just kind of load a bunch of stuff in there, give Facebook a budget or whatever ad platform you're using, and just kind of let it run. And again, use the built-in testing capabilities of the platform for you. So that's the most important stuff by far, Tanvir. In terms of whether or not you're using lead gen forms or you're using... Go ahead.
The key metrics that we should be tracking?
Mm-hmm. Key metrics are click-through rate. Okay. And then opt-in rate. Really, those are the only two that I'm going to be very concerned about at all. Third one that I'll be concerned about, but I won't expect to see a ton of variability on this one, but is the cost per click. So if you are, certain campaigns will get a different CPM, cost per thousand, in the ad platform. So you'll run one campaign and it gets a $10 cost per thousand. You'll run another one, it gets a $20 cost per thousand. Why exactly that is, who knows? But so you could have the same click-through percentage rate and one could be costing you twice as much because the CPMs are twice as much. And so, you're going to look at cost per click as well. But again, usually in local, the variability between the cost of one campaign versus another is not going to be huge, but it's something to pay attention to. But really, those are the only metrics that you're paying attention to and care about. Like, you're going to see some ads that you run are going to have a click-through rate of 1%. And some ads that you run are going to have a click-through rate of 5%. Well, obviously, shut down the one that's getting 1% and put your money behind the one that's getting 5%, right? So you're just constantly finding the winning horses and betting more on them, finding the losing horses in the race and culling them and killing them. Okay, that's the approach. But those are really the only metrics that you care about. Are people clicking on your ad? And when they do, are they then opting in for whatever it is that you're asking them to opt in for? And as I was starting to say, whether you're using a lead gen form or a landing page, I really don't care. It's just testing. Which one of those is, if you run a lead page form, and you're getting a 40% opt-in rate, and then on a landing page, you're only getting a 30% opt-in rate, run the lead gen forms. I mean, it really, one or the other doesn't make any difference to me. And I have seen one outperform the other. Again, it's always just about testing. For me personally, I would just tell you, Tanvir, in most cases, I just send people to a landing page. So that's typically my mode of doing it.
For local ads, instant lead forms, do you have an idea of what a realistic cost per lead? I know you're more of a traffic and landing page guy.
No, I mean, I could have a better answer for you that in the next 30 days because of some of the campaigns that I'm launching right now. But you know, if I'm getting, let's say, $25 cost per lead, and again, it depends on what you're asking them to opt in for. If you ask them to opt in for your newsletter, you're going to get a totally different cost per lead than if you ask somebody to book a meeting with you, right? Those are totally different scenarios, totally different commitment that you're asking that lead to make. So it's going to completely vary on your offer. This
has to do with the free website offer. Maybe book
I understand that, but are you asking them to opt in for more information? Are you asking them to opt in to book on your calendar? Like, what are you asking them to opt in for? Because you're going to get completely different metrics.
What's an easy ask that will get them to click on that? So I have their name and phone number.
To get more information is an easy ask, right? To ask them to book on your calendar is a much harder ask. So with the lead gen, with the conversations, actually as a conversations feature, so you can run messenger ads, right? And so a great initial thing is just for them to start a conversation with you in Messenger to get more information. So that's a great format, and that's a very successful one with a lot of agencies. Is they do a messenger ad, and so are you interested in learning more about this? They click yes, it fires up the messenger, and it just starts a conversation. You can then use your AI to do immediate follow up on that conversation, but then also see that conversation is happening and in the conversations feature in high level and jump in there and give it a more human touch to that as well. That's a super, super successful approach. So I know, again, some very successful agencies that what they're doing is they're getting at a first initial messenger conversation. They're asking like 4 questions using AI to do qualification of that prospect. And then assuming that they've got the right answers that they're looking for after those first 4 questions, then they're doing live follow up with a salesperson. So that's a very low commitment, easy way of getting some engagement. But that's, just getting more information, learn more is the easiest, lowest commitment next step. As soon as you start asking somebody to book on your calendar, that can take the costs of each lead from, let's say you're spending $10 to get a messenger conversation. That could take the cost to $100 or $150 if that was the first ask that you're making. So, but it's a totally different level of qualification, right? It's somebody like literally finding a time on their calendar to sit and have a conversation with a real human being. So that makes sense.
That makes sense. And if I can ask one other question?
Yeah.
So I know with your model, the emphasis is on recurring revenue, low price points, but I do sometimes have conversations with larger companies. And I'm just wondering if you can offer your take on pricing options for things like voice AI chatbot for larger companies?
I really can't, honestly, Tanvir. I can't give you like an educated answer on that. I mean, I guess one, I don't know what you're talking about when you say larger companies. Are you talking companies with $100 million in revenue and thousands of employees, or are you saying like a larger company is like a 50-person architecture firm? A 50-person architecture firm is still a very small business, and the pricing.
What I mean by larger companies were like $500 a month. Is not that big of a deal, and they can spend maybe 1,000 or 2,000, because they have a lot of employees, they have a big marketing budget. Maybe there's a lot more work involved to integrate these tools.
So in that case, then the pricing, the structure of the agreement to me would be whatever price point that you're establishing as the base price point for providing the numbers and the tools and just having those existing. So let's say that's $500 a month. And in that $500 a month, you're going to set up to 10 numbers for them and 3 different AI kind of personalities for them or roles. So you're going to have an AI customer service, an AI sales, and an AI just general receptionist. I don't know, I'm just making that up, or AI support. And you're going to set those things up and tailor those for them. And that's $500 a month. Okay. And then there would be usage pricing for the actual usage of SMS, of email, of, depending on what all you're providing. That usage pricing then would be how you then scale that customer, because they can pay more and they're going to be using the system much more than a typical small business. So the only part of that that's more of a variable for me that I don't know, and that you would have to do a little bit more research on, is that usage pricing. So the per minute fees, the per SMS message fees, any of that, what's going to be competitive for a larger business? Because a larger business is probably doing more negotiation on their telecom rates and stuff. So they may just be more aware of, hey, we're paying this much for voice minutes with another provider, with Ring Central or with AT&T. And so just making sure that your usage is competitive so that you don't outprice yourself in that market. Versus with a real small business that's going to be using the system in a pretty darn limited way, you have much more flexibility on what you're charging on the usage rates, because they don't even have any clue probably. And 2, it's not going to make that big of a dollar impact either way, because they're just not using the system nearly as much, versus a larger business could be using the system enough that $500 a month could be turning into thousands and thousands of dollars a month. And they may be looking at those usage rates much more carefully. That makes sense?
Thank you, Mike.
You bet. Thank you. Thanks for being here, Tanvir. I'm sorry with the delay. It was a little more challenging, but I hope that helped you. Let's see. What is your preferred amount of travel? That's a good question, Travis. It's one of those things where like you have this kind of dreamy idea of, oh man, if I created a business where I had total freedom and I could travel all I want, I'd just be traveling around all over the place. At least at some point or another, my brain, probably thought that. And that's definitely not the case. I like to travel a lot, but I also like having a home base and being at home. And I'm much more productive, when I can work from a place that I have set up as my workspace versus, sitting on the beach or whatever it is. So I love to do a couple of trips a year that are longer, maybe, and when I say longer, between 10 days and 30 days. 10 days is still kind of like a vacation, versus 30 days is I'm actually moving someplace and kind of setting up shop and living life. I'm not just on vacation. right? I'm actually living life. I'm going to be working. I'm going to be, kind of getting to know the community, getting my routine, that type of thing. I've done that a couple times with my kids, where we've gone, someplace for 30 days in Europe, and I've run an apartment and just, we live there. Yes, there's at least probably 50% of that that's like vacation mode, but it changes the way I think about it, because now I'm going to set up an office there. While I'm there, I'm going to work at least, several hours a day, versus if I'm going someplace for 10 days, I can pretty much just check out for 10 days. I like to do a couple of those types of trips a year. And then I like to do, once a month, like a weekend trip, that type of thing. Maybe once every 6 weeks, a weekend trip, where when I say a weekend trip, that's probably more like a 4-day, type of thing. So that's kind of the deal for me. Like once I go beyond that, I think it starts to be a little more stressful than it is fun. So that's probably always, yes, I would love to, Carlos. I'd love to take a selfie with you. That probably is always changing though, Travis, like, based on my life. Like right now, I've still got a daughter at home. When I don't have a daughter at home, I'll probably travel much more, right? So, for the free website offer, I'm struggling with clients who also want us to write all the copy and find images. How do you deal with that? Easy. AI. Are you kidding me? Just throw that into AI. No problem. You can have all of your copy written in 1 minute. The images can be a little more difficult. I love, what is it? Ideogram, is that the name of it? I think that's the best for creating. I have found that this is the best for creating useful images, for kind of business related stuff very easily. Ideogram. Can you guys still hear me? I hope you guys can still hear me. I just got a little message saying that maybe you can't, but I hope you can. Let me know if you can't hear me in the chat, please. But I have found that this is the best for creating images. And man, don't let copy or images slow you down one bit now, because you can create this stuff so fast, so easy. Okay, cool. Thanks, everybody. It's super easy. So yeah, don't let that be a hang up at all. And then look what I do. And so let's be super clear about this, is you include in your free website build 2 rounds of revisions. After those rounds of revisions, they can either pay you for more revisions if you want to, or you just say, hey, look, here's the website editor. You can have access, go in there and update the copy all you want now. I mean, it's yours. Well, hopefully we got it to at least 90% the way you want it. And now you can go and edit it to make it perfect for you, right? So don't feel like you've got to get on the hook and be like, oh, I've got to, what if they don't like it? And I've got to keep on working on it. No, it's subjective. There is no perfect copy. There is no perfect design. And you're doing the damn site for free. And so you just tell them, hey, look, at the very beginning, you tell them, here's what we do. We build a site. We use proven templates. We use proven, structures, all that type of stuff. Copy and images we can take from your existing site and put those on the new site for you. We're happy to do an update of those copy and images. And we do 2 rounds of revisions on this whole thing. And then after those 2 rounds of revisions, again, it's subjective. So you can pay us for more, or you're happy to have access to the editor and you can, update those things yourself. So that's the approach. Okay. Let me see here. And by the way, Trust Grid, I would just say, not only should you not be afraid of that, you should enthusiastically embrace it, because it's one of those things that when you do it for them, like there's so many small businesses out there that don't understand how easy this is with AI now. When you do that for them, they think, oh my gosh, what a service, right? So go for it. What do you think about this model? We have a free website layout with a virtual AI assistant chatbot and lead capture forms for $97 a month. If they want more personable, we just tack on an extra 25. Great. I love it. That's perfect. Allow them access to fully customize their workforce site. If they need assistance with the theme, then we would charge the service for that. Yep. That's perfect. I saw the free 1-month AI employee offer. I'm on the $297 plan at the minute while I get clients. Is it worth upgrading to the $497 SaaS so I can add a markup for after that trial? Alan, yes, but I don't think that you, I mean, I see what you're saying. Do you have to be on the $497? I don't think that you have to be though, Alan. So to me, let me answer the question first. I think that the $497 plan is generally always worth it. If you have any customers coming on board, if you have 3 customers, which I think you're at that point, or maybe even beyond that now, Alan, I think that the $497 is absolutely worth it. And so I would plan on getting on that $497 probably either way, because yes, the markup capability will easily pay for the $297 difference, or excuse me, the $200 difference between the $297 and the $497. It will just easily pay for itself so fast that you should just go for it. So that would be my recommendation in almost all cases. So I would say the answer is yes. And by the way, thank you for mentioning. If you are somebody that is using high level, so you have to be a paying customer of high level to take advantage of the offer that Alan just mentioned, which is high level is letting you use the AI capabilities with your customers for 30 days for free this summer, which is awesome. Because talk about capabilities that really do sell themselves once you see them in use. I mean, they're incredible. So if you are a current customer of high level, you can take advantage of that offer. You can do it here, labspecial.com/go AI. That's my affiliate link. If you do that, if you use that, you'll get access to all my bonuses. We'll treat you just like a normal, a customer of ours, as if you signed up for the 97 high level or the 297 or the 497. So you'll get access to all of our bonuses. Okay. Again, you have to be an existing high level customer. So if you are brand new to high level, just sign up for high level like you normally would, and you can use our links, whatever you want to do. When you do that, you're on a trial, right? You just have to end that trial and become a full paying customer to then take advantage of that 30 days free. So it's an awesome service. So if you're ready to sell and get after it, or you have existing customers and you want to start introducing AI, it's absolutely something to take full advantage of. Okay. Awesome, Alan. I love that. Just signed my 6. Good for you. Good for you. Perfect. You are well on your way, sir. I love it. What does unemployable mean to you? Sense this strongly, even though your current job is a dream job. Yes, unemployable to me. That is essentially my personality, which I realized a long time ago. Unemployable to me means that I need to be working for myself. And the only situation I have realized, there's only 2 situations where I would not be working for myself. And I realized this a long time ago. One is if just for some reason I just absolutely economically could not make it work for a period of time, and I had to work for somebody else to put food on the table. Would I do it? Absolutely. Once you have kids, that to me just changes everything. If it was just me, 25 years old, no kids, being a knucklehead, man, I could live off of ramen and sleep on somebody's futon and last forever, right? But once you have kids, I'll do anything to make sure that those kids are taken care of. And so that means I've got to work a job and then build my business on the side. And that's what it means. The only other scenario where I would work for somebody else is if I realize that the mission, the purpose, and the leadership of that business is something that is so inspiring to me and is just at a different level than I am. I mean, as an example, if there was an opportunity to work for Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or something like that on some, thing that I just passionately believed in, and I was going to have an opportunity to play a role in developing that vision and bringing it to life, then would I work for one of those people? Yes, I would. I would, because I would probably have literally a once in a life kind of life-changing opportunity, right? I mean, literally, like the things that they're working on are things that are changing the world, right? That's incredible. And so would I do that? Yes. Are there very many of those? And are they going to be something that I'm going to have access to? Probably not. So in other words, there are very few cases where I would not be working for myself. And that is unemployable. The more I learn through direct experience, the more I'll earn. Absolutely. Think about structuring the Surge as a series of monthly challenges on a curriculum. Any thoughts or suggestions? So, David, we may be thinking about the Surge in different ways. The way that I think about the Surge is you are doing work for them to get everything set up as fast as possible so that they're getting the full benefits of your service as fast as possible. So the way I'm thinking about the Surge, I think, is exactly kind of opposite of the way that you're describing here, where you're saying, it sounds to me like you're saying, we're going to space this out. And it sounds to me like you're going to have the customer doing the Surge by teaching them instead of doing it for them. I think that is a mistake for the kind of customer that I advocate that you should be focusing on. So the kind of customer that I focus on and I advocate that you should be focusing on are what I call systems buyers instead of tools buyers. And so just to make sure that that's clear for everybody, a system buyer is somebody who wants a complete system that just works to accomplish the goal, right? If the goal is to get more takeout orders for my pizza restaurant, then I want a system that's already designed and set up for me that has the campaigns, has everything that's needed to just get more pizza orders. It's not tools that I can then sit down and design my own funnel and design my own campaigns and do my own testing to try and create a thing that will sell more pizzas, right? That's a tools buyer. If I'm somebody who's trying to sit down and learn how to use tools to create my own version of things, that's a totally different customer than a systems buyer. I do not believe that you should be selling to tools buyers. If you are, then doing some sort of curriculum like that where you're helping them learn how to use the tools, great. But if you are selling to a systems buyer, you should do everything possible as fast as possible to get them the full benefit of that system so that they're hooked, right? And that they're just paying you that recurring revenue forever. The least amount of effort on their part, the better, because they just want the benefit. It's holy cow. We set up your thing, we paid you for the Surge, and now we're getting more pizza orders. Perfect. I don't really care about how funnels work and all the magic behind it. I just know I just need to pay you $4.97 a month and I get more pizza orders. Done. Right? So I think opposite to an extent of what you are describing there. And I hope that helps. I'm not saying that your approach is wrong. I do think it is wrong for the type of customers that I advocate that you should be targeting. We already did that one. For the free website offer, I would first test by just calling on the phone. It's super easy conversation, as you can imagine, which lets you test different messages pretty quickly and easily. And Chris, I would advocate totally different, just because to me, calling people is a complete waste of time. What I would recommend that you do is take those exact same messages that you're thinking might work and just run a bunch of ads split testing them. And you will find out way more quickly which of those messaging approaches is getting a response, because you will have hundreds of people seeing them instead of the one person, two person that you actually reach on the call each day and have a conversation with. So much, much more effective. This is why, Tim Ferriss, when he was trying to figure out the title of the 4-Hour Workweek book, right? He famously just ran Google ads with a bunch of different titles and saw which ones got clicked on. And the 4-Hour Workweek was one that crushed everything else and became the name of the book. Same approach. What about targeting a specific niche with the ad targeting, Jack asked? So in local, again, everything is a test, but in local, Jack, I have found that it is almost better in all cases just to run the ads wide open. So by wide open, I mean you don't target a specific niche, you just target San Diego. And then have the ads do the work of selection. So what I mean is that if your ad is clearly an ad for roofers, well, the only people they're going to click on an ad for roofers are roofers, right? Or people who really, are married to roofers or whatever it is, or work for a roofer. So Facebook very quickly, using their AI, is going to say, okay, here's the people to show this ad to because it's about roofing, right? So just let the AI figure that out, right? Because as soon as you target a specific niche in your local market, as soon as you do the selection inside of Facebook and say, target people who are roofers, the cost per thousand that you're going to pay goes way up. So the cost per thousand of running open ads, let's say, is $10 per thousand. The cost per thousand of running roofer ads could be $75, $100 per thousand. So you could be paying many multiples of the cost. And so what I have found, again, in almost all cases, is that precise targeting, because of the increased cost, ends up in way more expensive results versus if you do the wide open, you have much lower cost. It's less efficient for a while. Theoretically, you got to let it run for a week or whatever, let AI find your audience. But once it does, your costs are much lower. So again, though, the right answer is test, Jack. So create your campaign, duplicate the campaign, run one wide open, run one to roofers, and prove me wrong or prove me right, and let me know. My son is assisting me in the work. Would we have access to all of your trainings too? Yeah, so Ramon, I mean, you just have your son just log in using your login. I mean, it's that simple. What we don't do is go set up a bunch of separate logins for, people are like, oh, I have 7 people on my team. Can we set them all up with a login for the same price? No. And the reason why is that's just a total pain in the neck on our end to manage that. Like if you end up canceling and we don't know that all those 7 people are linked to you, and just managing that is a total pain in the butt. So if you have a son that's helping you, just have them log in using your login. If you have a bunch of employees that end up working for you and you want to give them all access, just talk to us and we'll give you a deal on our all access pass to give them access to the training at a discount price. When building your signature system, you can use ChatGPT to develop the SOP and then use the SOP as the blueprint to build out your system. Absolutely, Heath. I create an SOP with pipeline phases and major milestones within each phase, key tasks, boring tasks, touch points. Yes. I mean, look, if at this point, you are not opening up ChatGPT or whatever your favorite AI is, every single time that you run into some sort of roadblock in your business, in your life, and using it to just help you get through that roadblock, you are totally missing the boat and you are totally falling behind. Okay. So just like Heath said there, if you're listening to this and you go, hey, Mike, yeah, but what cold call script should I use to sell the free websites to small businesses? The answer is open up ChatGPT and say, hey, ChatGPT, I'm going to be selling this offer to small businesses in the local area. Could you give me 3 different approaches for a cold call script that would be effective, right? And it's going to write 3 amazing cold call scripts for you. And you may want to modify them or tweak them or whatever, but the answer is those scripts are going to be just as good as anything I would write, and just go and test them, right? Same with ads, same with email copy, same with everything else. Same with trying to develop a plan, just like Heath said. Like, hey, I'm going to be selling this to small businesses. I'm going to be bringing them on board. I'd like a 30-day, SOP for how I should manage the onboarding process most effectively using best practices, from SaaS businesses that have scaled to at least $100 million in revenue. Whatever. I mean, and ChatGPT is going to do the research and write the thing for you. Is it going to be perfect? No. Is it going to be great? Yes. Are you going to then tweak it over time? Absolutely, based on your real world experience. But just use that as your starting point and get going. And man, again, I don't care what problem you're running into in your life at this point. That's a great first step. Okay. Okay, so I'm on the 497 plan, but if I sign up for AI, we get access to your bonuses. Yes. How much is the AI after the 30-day trial? It's $97 rock for the unlimited for each sub account. So $97. So if you have 3 customers and you want them all on unlimited, you would be paying $97 to put them on unlimited each. And then they will pay whatever the heck, you want, right? You can mark that up for whatever you want. Okay. But you can also do bill by the usage instead of unlimited. And then it's just you marking up the AI however you want to mark it up for that usage. So you have options there. Okay. If you're working with home services providers, teach them how to earn affiliate commissions. I have an HVAC company that offers financing through a credit card provider and earns affiliate cash. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I would hope anybody in that industry understands how much money they could be making by referring people, because a lot of money is spent on homes. Jack, you need the 497 to have the greatest ability to mark up those resale services and profit from them as much as possible. So again, if you're on the 297 plan, once you have just a few customers, you really just should go on the 497 plan, because it's going to pay for itself almost right away, and maybe literally right away. Okay. Awesome. Matt says, have you heard of anybody working? Hey, Matt, good to see you. Have you heard of anybody working really well with voice AI campaigns using Go High Level and voice AI as a combo offer for, let's say, $199 for first AI plus employee for a niche, small business wise, and any suggestions for a niche where it works? I don't have any specific suggestions for a niche where it works, but yes. So this is, I think this voice AI with some of the core features of high level combo, like you're saying, at like $199, $299, that type of thing, it's working for a lot of people. And niches where it works, again, I mean, it's not like I have a specific one to say, oh, this is where it's going to work well. But I mean, so many businesses rely on voice interactions to a very high degree, right? Home services businesses of all kinds, contractors of all kinds, lots of businesses still like salons and things like that. Just any of those types of businesses, restaurants, they're all very good opportunities. So yeah, Matt, but I think that price point and that combo of, hey, you're going to get voice AI, but these other capabilities, I think is really nice. I think though, you can also just do like a $97 entry price point, and have like a 97 and you pay for usage as well. So you give them some credits, but they pay for usage, or a 197 or 297 where it's unlimited. Either of those can be very attractive. Yeah. Unbelievable, right? Unbelievable. I mean, the amount of lost business because people don't pick up their phone or don't respond, it's unreal. So awesome. We are about out of time here. These are some good questions and some good conversations. I hope you guys got good value out of it. And I hope you have good plans for your weekend. And We'll see you here on a future office hours call. This next week is when I am flying off to, yeah, Rock, thank you so much. Yes, absolutely. This is that affiliate code right there, or affiliate. So if you go, the link is asking me to sign in, and I want to make sure the two are connected. Yes, thank you very much, Rock. So that should, if you use that link, it should automatically connect us. However, that is not always the case with High Level in their system, their tracking system, as we know. So if you, let me just give you the other manual. So if you are in the process there, it can also, you can also get to a point where it will ask you for like an affiliate code to associate with. And if that ends up being the case, then you can put that in right there. Leverage Ventures Inc. 90. I know that's a bit of a terrible code to have to put in, how to, make sure that you get that right, but that is the code. And if for some reason, Rock, you get the impression that it's not, it didn't work, didn't get us connected, you just email us at help@servicesthatscale.com, and we can work with you in High Level to make sure we get everything squared away. Okay. And thank you very much. I appreciate that. Awesome. Thank you. Well, Rock, you will quickly find out how to use AI with your clients, and you will love it. And we'll have more and more training on that. We're rolling out some stuff right now ourselves and putting together lots of content and training and best practices. And so you will be all over it because it's incredible. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for being here, everybody. Let's see. Ramon says, I have a dog room client that has an industry-specific software. Can I still win with the Go High Level solution? Would it just be better workflows within Go High Level? Ramon, so you really got to see, like, what does that industry-specific software do? Because industry-specific software, there's all kinds of industry-specific software out there that may not have anywhere near the capabilities of High Level. And so you may, and this is the case in a lot of cases, you may not want to replace that software. You may want to work in a complementary way with it because it may be doing something very important for that service provider that you don't want to try and mess with, but it may not be doing a lot of other very important things that you could do to enhance. And if it's got, if it's a pretty open platform, you could be sharing data back and forth between the systems. So it's something to look into and try and carefully understand there. Whether or not you decide that type of customer is worth it, that's, the devil's in the details there. Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody, for being a part of the community. Thank you for taking time out of your Friday to be here with me and ask your questions. I hope you got some value out of it. And I hope that we see you on a future call. Please note, next week, I am going to be traveling to that event in Detroit for half the week. I will be in there, and I'm going to be 100% in that event. I'm not going to be doing any work, so I will not have the office hours call next week. I think right now it is still on the schedule, but I'm going to pull that off of the schedule. So just be aware of that. We will see you the next week, though, for an office hours call then. Really appreciate you. Have a great weekend and get out there and get after it. Okay. Take care, everybody. Talk soon.